So this is part 6 of the essentials, looking at essential oils, their history and use. So just a reminder that the information here is educational in nature and that they're just more health tools for helping to maintain wellness and or return yourself to wellness. Just another tool that God provided for us. It's not medical advice, shouldn't be taken that way. Anything that is suggested should be checked out and do your own due diligence to make sure that it's going to work for you before diving in, and that the information here is not exhaustively comprehensive, but is an attempt to give some good information about the topic. So tonight we're going to talk about chamomile in particular, and as an essential oil, as the way it's used. Chamomile can be used as a tea, probably as poultices too. It's probably most commonly known for its use as a tea, but it also has an essential oil that can be extracted from it. There actually ends up being at least 3 different types of chamomile that find its way into essential oil. Typically, it's not a mix, it's individual. So depending on what kind of an effect you want to make sure that you get the correct chamomile. So there's Roman chamomile, Anthemis nobilis, Moroccan chamomile, Ormenis mixta, blue chamomile, which is Tricharia camomilia. And you can see some pictures of it. The blue chamomile is not always blue, sometimes it's white. But the key factor is that the oil itself has a slightly blue tinge to it once it's been extracted. The Moroccan chamomile can be a completely white petal array, but sometimes it has that inner halo of yellow around the central disc. And then Roman chamomile is the nice white flowers. There's a wild chamomile called pineapple weed, which is used in lieu of chamomile sometimes with respect to just native plants. I don't know that is actually has any oil extracted from it, although it probably could if you had your own extraction equipment. So the part that's utilized is the flowers, and the oils are extracted through a steam distillation process. So we'll look at the different types of chamomile essential oils that are out there and discuss some of their properties and the way they can be used. So the first one we'll look at is blue chamomile. It's also known as German chamomile. And again, it's the one that has the kind of bluish tinge to the oil itself. The active components, the chemical compounds, are azulene. Azulene gives it the blue kind of tinge to it. And sesquiterpenes, so it's a series of compounds with 7 different parts to it, oxides and esters. So it turns out that the essential oil from blue chamomile is excellent for use in skincare. It helps to support digestion. If someone's suffering from nausea, it can help to reduce the nausea. It has wound healing characteristics and is helpful in relieving anxiety. Has very soothing properties when used in salves and other ointments as an additive for dry and flaky skin. And it has anti-inflammatory components that can be very beneficial in that regard as well. And it can function for pain relief and sleep support. So it's not a sedative, but it just helps calm the nerves and allow rest to come more easily. So the blue chamomile, Tricharia camomilia, is the white flowers here. And some of the safety that's important with it is that it has potential medical interactions, medicines, pharmaceutical interactions. So you'd want to consult with your healthcare provider, with a pharmacist, or other medical pharmacology interaction tables to make sure that any medication you're on wouldn't have any contraindications in connection with it. And that's true for everything, but there are some that are more prone to those interactions than others. And the German chamomile or blue chamomile is one of those. Another classic one is just using grapefruit and in general. But that's just a side issue. You want to avoid the chamomile if you're pregnant. So nausea associated with pregnancy, you don't want to be using chamomile as a support for that. Use something else. And then if you happen to be allergic to the Asteraceae family of flowers, just be careful because an essential oil is a concentrated form of those compounds, and there could be interactions or reactions associated with it if you happen to be allergic to it. So that's the daisy family and any of the ray flowered flowers like we see here. So just that general composition is the flowers in the Asteraceae family. So some research that is available, and there's probably more than what is shown here, but talks about chamomile and looks at an overview of the different types of pharmacological interactions, pharmacology review from January to June in 2011, and then also chamomile, Matricaria camomilia, a review of ethnomedicinal use, phytochemistry, and pharmacological uses. And that's from Mayo et al. And from the Life magazine, or not the Life magazine per se, but Life is the journal in the plant section in 2022. Next, we'll look at the Moroccan chamomile. So the Moroccan chamomile is actually not a true chamomile. Its scientific name is different, and it doesn't have the chamomile component to it, but it is similar in its smell, and some of its properties are similar. So it has different active components. So we have a breakdown of some of the different percentages here. The alpha-pinene, 12%, germacerine D, so that's a D formation, left-handed, right-handed, D-germicine, and 1,8 phenoli. So those two D-germicines, I think, are actually the same compound, just labeled slightly differently there. Cis-methyl isoeugenol, beta-farnesene, and myrcene. So like the other chamomile, German chamomile, it does support healthy skin, and it can also soothe minor aches and pains. Used topically, it can help promote restful sleep, help to calm occasional nervous tension. If this product happens to be labeled chamomile modoc tanacetum annum, you want to avoid it because that scientific name is completely counter parallel to the actual plant. So it has a common name of one way and a scientific name of another. So it's going to be of dubious origin. So just be careful of the labeling. Always want to make sure that your labeling is consistent with what you have in your product. So safety, there's no known particular safety issues or concerns for children or pregnancy, but nonetheless, care would be taken because it does have some different properties. So when you're using it topically, you want to use a carrier oil. You can use a roller applicator. So the roller applicator is a glass bottle down below here. Usually they're about 10 milliliters in volume, and you can add drops to that to give them various concentrations. You can also use it aromatically as in a diffuser. So for daily topical application, you can use a 2 to 3% solution. So looking at this chart here, there's some general guidelines here for creating a dilution. So it says 2 to 3% for daily skincare, 1% solution for children or elderly with sensitive skin, or 10 to 25% for short-term high impact use. So make sure that you check the single oil blends for any limiting or dilution parameters, and then follow those specific ones. Otherwise, you can use the general guidelines listed below. And this is from a essential oil provider. So there's different ways. You see the solution concentration across the top row, 1%, 2%, 3%, 5%, 10%, 25%, and then based on different volumes. So the 10 milliliter roll-on applicator is like the glass bottle we see down below there. And then the number you see there, the ordinal number, is the number of drops you would add to that, and then top it off with the oil to make that concentration. So for 75 drops in a 10 milliliter bottle with the balance being made up of the carrier oil, you'd have a 25% solution. So 25 plus 75 is 100. So with a 10 milliliter solution or volume, it's essentially using the ratios, percentage ratios of the metric system for that. So for a 1 to 2% solution, you'd use the number of drops there per 10 milliliter volume of the bottle. You'd add those drops and then top it off with the carrier oil to make the solution. So for a 3% solution, it'd be 9 drops and then add the balance of carrier oil. And then they have some different volumes there too. A 1 ounce, which is 6 teaspoons, or 2 ounces, which is 4 tablespoons or 12 teaspoons. So that's some ratios there just for convenience sake. So this could be a helpful chart to have around. Typically oils and hot oils and barks, you want to use a much lower percentage of the oil because they are considered hot. You wouldn't use them neat because they would have a burning sensation typically with them. So you can use the conversion chart as you make up those percentages and some basic guidelines for the percentages for topical use based on age up through 14 and then adult use beyond that. So some research, we have antioxidant, antibacterial activities of Pelargonium asperum and Ormanis mixta essential oils. So the Ormanis mixta is the Moroccan chamomile that we talked about here, and their synergistic antibacterial effects. So Ohidri et al. In Environmental Science Pollutant Journal in 2018. And then another one looking at the antibacterial or microbial combined action of Mentha Pelusium, Ormanis mixta, and Mentha piperita, which is peppermint essential oils, against S. aureus, E. coli, C. tropicalis, and application of mixture design methodology. So they were basically looking at different blends of those 3 oils and their effectiveness in food science and technology, June of last year, 2021. So Shadabai et al. Produced this research. And then we have the Roman chamomile, Anthemus nobilis, the noble chamomile. So active components are angelic acid. That's a great name, isn't it? Wonder where they came up with that. Tagilic acids, which the 2 that are present in a Roman chamomile are angelates and metacrylates. So some key uses of this is topically for calming and soothing and regenerating of skin, antibacterial in nature, aromatically for calming the mind, so it can help to simmer down the nerves. Topical can help to ease muscle spasms, so it's used as an ingredient in massage oils, salves, compresses, and it can help reduce minor pain and inflammation. Again, using it topically can help calming, so on the temples or other places of the body along nerve lines. Sleep promoting, anxiety and depression can be benefited by the use of Roman chamomile essential oil. And using it in a diffuser, again aromatically, can be soothing and restorative in nature. So some research behind the Roman chamomile, a comprehensive study of therapeutic applications of chamomile, Sa et al. From Pharmaceuticals, Basel, October 2022. And then looking at an article titled Evidence Supports Tradition, the in vitro effects of Roman chamomile on smooth muscles. So the smooth muscles are those muscles that are part of body organs that are pushing fluids through channels, as opposed to skeletal muscle and heart muscle. And there's actually a specific muscle that's in the eye that's unique to the eye as well. The smooth muscle is going to be in the intestines, in blood vessels, in the kidneys, anywhere that there's a body channel through which substances are moved, whether they be solid or liquid, is going to have smooth muscle being the primary muscle that's going to be aiding that or enabling that. So Sander et al. Are the ones who did this research in Frontiers in Pharmacology and Ethnopharmacology, the Ethnopharmacology section from April 2018. And then like the other two different types of chamomile, the Moroccan and the blue chamomile, we have the antimicrobial activities of Rowan chamomile oil from France and its main compounds. Bale et al. In the Journal of Essential Oil Research from back in 2007.
To be aware of new videos like this one, be sure to subscribe to the Preparing for the Time of Trouble channel. For more free videos and downloadable audio podcasts, as well as handouts, go to www.preparingforthetimeoftrouble.com. Topic categories include recordings of live seminar presentations, country living, sustainable gardening, homestead remedies, how to be self-sufficient when the grid goes down, wild edible and medicinal plants, hydrotherapy, and end-time Bible prophecies. To take advantage of these free resources, go to preparingforthetimeoftrouble.com.